Nation, Guru Nation, Guru Nation, Guru Nation. Hey Guru Nation, welcome back. Thank you so much for watching. We're also live on Instagram, so go follow us on Instagram. We're preparing for SOS conference panel, and our lead CRC at Yuma Clinical Trials, Katie Welch.
Yes.
She's on the panel. And one of the ideas I had was, at least for my panels, everyone's doing something different, but for mine, everyone that's on my panel, I'll do a one-on-one podcast like this to try to find something like some golden nuggets for the main event.
Gotcha.
That way this is my way of getting prepared, because you know me, I don't prepare that well for most things. But this is like my way of preparing. Plus, it's like two birds with one stone, because you get content, you get Instagram live. So it's good stuff. So, Katie, introduce yourself for those that don't know. The hardcore fans know. You've been on videos before.
Yeah, so my name's Katie Welch. I'm the lead CRC here at Yuma Clinical Trials. I've been here for about a year and a half now, almost 2 years. But yeah, so I just got promoted to lead CRC, so I've been having to work with our other coordinators and help train them and get them going in the CRC community and everything.
And the way you're employee number 2. So you really started like from the bottom, and you were employee number 2 by like a month.
Yep.
So you're basically the first employee also. And you've learned most of like what's important. I think you've maybe everything. I don't know. I think 2 years you've seen like just about everything. So you're
almost there.
Almost there. You haven't really seen like a SAE yet, like a serious one. Like a study drug related one.
Right.
We've had SAEs, but not study drug related. But I think that's next. And then, knock on wood, audits.
Yeah, hopefully not.
We haven't seen a sponsor audit either, though. Those are like a little easier. But our topic on the panel is training, so staffing.
Right.
So it actually starts before the training, like selecting the right type of person to be a coordinator. And now that you've been a coordinator for almost 2 years, you kind of know what it takes.
Yeah.
What is the right person? There's no such thing as the perfect coordinator either.
Right. Well, so far through interviewing and hiring the right person, I think you kind of just know. Like, you kind of know right away from their interview. Either whether it be their work ethic or how they can go about the community and get people to come in, and even just a little bit of background experience, like if they did go to school, what school did they go to, where did they go, even looking at their past jobs, like did they work with people, did they work in hospitals and things like that.
Those are all transferable
skills. But again, just talking with the people and talking with them, like a couple of our hires, I knew kind of right away, like this is who I want.
Yeah. I think all 3 that we have now, we were all on the same page. There was one that we didn't hire that we felt that way, but then we did a second interview, and I think what it was with her, for me, and some of the others was, you can start seeing like some potentially like bad attitude, maybe, and it was enough to scare me away.
Yeah.
Based on like our past with situations we've had here. Before, and we also had one employee that we did hire that didn't work out, and we kind of know what doesn't make a good coordinator.
Right.
I think you have to be tech savvy.
For sure. Tech savvy is like one of the number one skills you need to be in clinical research, just with all the sites you have to use. They're all different, so they all require different skills and sets and things like that. With her, I think we gave her a long time to try and help her get over the hump, like the 3-month hump that you give us to get going. And I just don't think she could have gotten there, even with all the help and everything. Like, we were one-on-one with her.
She waved the white towel to, like...
Yeah, and she kind of knew, like, this wasn't for her. So, she knew. Unfortunate, but...
She was... And it wasn't work ethic on her end. Like, she was trying.
She really tried.
And that just shows you right there, like, no matter what kind of training you think is going to work, if you don't start with the right foundation of, like, skill set, you have to have some kind of existing skill set that can transfer to this. And in this case, she had a lot of it. Like, she had the empathy and she had, like, rapport with patients, but she was lacking the tech stuff. Like, even
the
things
technical
like checking
side.
emails and things like that was, like, just went over her head. So it didn't work. So the last, 3 months now you've been lead CRC? So you've brought, like, all these new people we have.
Yeah.
You were with them from day one as the lead.
Yep.
What's that been like, and, like, what are some of the things you've been doing to get them up to speed? It's a lot to process for any new person, even if they do have the right skill set.
Yeah, it's definitely been tough, especially since I've never been in a lead type of role where I govern people or delegate people and things like that. Most of the learning curve I think I've dealt with is learning how to adapt to other people's way of learning. Like, I learned pretty quickly and I learned pretty easily. But for some people, they need more one-on-one time with me, or they need more hands-on experience or training to be able to do the things that we do. And so that's kind of what I'm figuring out, is what type of training people need to...
What type?
To get going.
And not everyone is the same. So not like what works well with one person may not work well with the other.
Right.
And what motivates one may not motivate the other. And learning styles too. You can't, it's not efficient. I think I remember telling you, it's like, it's not, you're not going to choose the most efficient route, even though that's how you would do it for yourself.
Right.
But when you're training other people, you're dealing with, like, literally different personality types. Which we have everyone do.
We have many different personality types in our crew.
We have a whole, like, diverse... I haven't even read all of them yet. But there's, like, things in there that are gold to manage.
Yeah.
But we do at least know that they're all different. And there's different levers you can pull to motivate. What's been, like, the most challenging thing, maybe, for you? In this context,
I think, again, it just comes back down to how to be hands-on and how to be hands-off. Just, again, with the training and everything, I think it was hard for me to, like, let the team do their thing. Like, because I want to be very hands-on. I want to do a lot of the work because I like doing all the work, or at least a lot of the work. But again, it comes back down to that training of some people work better hands-on and some people work better you just telling them what to do. And so I got to let people do the hands-on things, actually do it themselves, like hand them the computer and be like, teach me how to do this, and like have them teach me how to do it so I know how they know and things like that.
How did we teach you?
You kind of just threw me in.
Yeah? So we're not doing that with the new people, though? Or it's the same thing, or it's, like, a little different?
Slightly different, slightly the same thing. I walk through pretty much everything with them. If they don't know, I tell them to ask me if you don't know. But after that, around, like, first or second visit of a certain study, that's when I kind of push him off and be like, okay, you do it. I'll stand here and watch, but you got to do it.
And we had a few, like, near miss, like, potentially disaster things that almost happened.
Yeah, a couple.
So if you do that, so if you choose to go that route, which I did, I guess with you too, you have to be ready. There has to be, like, adult supervision to make sure nothing disastrous is happening. Little mistakes are fine.
Right, and that's why you got to, like, at least be there with them while they do it and watch over them. And then if they need help with something or they forgot something important, you can be like, hey, like, please do this, or you got to do this first, and so forth.
Do you think you don't know most sites, but like my observations are most sites, I think they wait too long to hire someone. Like if you need someone, it's too late already. Because it's like 3 months at least, and that's if you get lucky.
Right.
Like she's standing right there, we get lucky. But if you get lucky, but if you're not lucky, it may take longer.
Right. And
so if you need someone right now, and that's when you start thinking about it, it's a little too late.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, we hired someone new recently when we did, because I think you never know what's going to happen. No. So it's always good to have just like maybe that extra person you really don't need, but they're there and you train them and they know how to do it, and you don't have to worry if someone leaves.
And one of the topics on the panel that already came up in the pre-panel discussion was like the perfect coordinator. And there's no such thing.
Nope.
But there is like a perfect team, or at least you can strive to be a perfect team.
Right.
What do you think that looks like from what you've seen so far?
Well, just from looking at our team is very good, I think, so far, because we've got someone who works very well with people. She's a very people person, and that's good for recruiting. And then you have
ENFP.
ENFP. And then we have like a very book smart, like bookworm type of dude, who is great. He always wants to be hands-on. He's always asking you what to do, like how to do it, and like wanting to help. And then we have another person who's kind of like that, but also a good mix of the person who likes to talk a lot, and is good at talking with people. So it kind of just all works. It all blends and is pretty good.
The hard part's managing it all and balancing, like, as you get more studies, then the team gets bigger. Like, there's already someone who applied that we don't really need.
Right.
But I think she's good. I actually have to show you her video. I need to tell Dora to get her, like, an interview or something. Yeah. We don't need someone right now.
No.
I don't think.
I think we're doing pretty good, but we're just getting more and more people and more studies.
Yeah.
So.
But the majority of sites wait until they need someone to start hiring, and then what they do, and in other markets, like, they're more desperate, like in LA or Orange County or San Diego, like, it's competitive. So if you don't hire, like, the first person,
right,
you might not get anyone. And so I think we could be more picky here in a way, and in other markets they have to kind of scramble
a
little more, which is maybe one of the benefits. The con is here we don't have, like, necessarily, like, bachelor's degree people falling out of the sky, whereas in those markets you do. So there's pros and cons to both.
Right.
But I think one of the things we want to discuss on this panel is how to, like, you have to know your market, and you have to know who's in your market, and then how you keep them and how you build that team, because there is no perfect CRC.
Right.
And another strategy at sites is to load up one CRC with, like, 20 studies. Like, if it was just you, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Katie, awesome. Like, and we'll slowly, like, pay you more, but here's another study.
Yeah.
Like, I think that burnout would happen pretty soon, and we see that happening all the time at other sites. So that's something that I try to be mindful about also, is, like, making it realistic.
Right.
And I also think, like, being a lead CRC, and eventually, like, the next step is the site director. If you weren't doing, like, there's some people that are lead CRC, but they've never been a coordinator. They just are put in that role, or, like, site director.
Okay.
But they've never done coordinating. So when they start delegating the coordinators, once they figure things out, there's pushback and there's, like, resentment. Like, oh, this person doesn't even know what they're talking about.
Right.
Having me do all this stuff. So the way we're doing it, I think, is more equitable and fair, in the sense that everything you're telling them to do, you've done.
Yeah. And I continue to do. Like, I think one of the least favorite things to do is probably uploading documents when we get new documents from the sponsor or something, because they'll come in like groups of 10 and it's just like some nitpicky thing you have to do, but I still do it because I tell my coworkers to do it. And I think
when do it. I did it the other day.
Right. I think if you've been through it, then it's easier to tell them, like, hey, this is what you need to do. Especially when they're asking questions on how to do it. If you've never done it before and you're just telling them to do something, then you can't help them do it. But they can always come to me and be like, I don't know how to do this, or how should I be naming this, or where does this document go in the source that we have, and so forth. Mm-hmm. It's just better if you've already done it and you are continuing to do it so you can help them too.
Do you think that, like, we have the CRC Academy that we put our employees through, but I mean, I don't think they really need it if they're thrown into visits. It doesn't hurt to be in it, so we have them in it.
Yeah.
Do you think there's something like that we do well, and then there's something that we don't do well that maybe another site can implement, or maybe even we can implement for like training new staff? Because we try to get them up to speed in 3 months to do a patient visit on their own. That's our metric. Mm-hmm. Some sites were amazed, like, 3 months? We take 6 months to do it. So maybe we're doing something wrong, or maybe they are.
I couldn't tell you, but I think the CRC Academy is good with, like, letting people know, like, the definitions of things. Like, I want to say, like, a 1572. Like, you tell someone to, hey, go get the PI to go sign the 1572, and you just hand them a paper. They don't know what this paper means. Mm-hmm. They don't know what it's for. They're just, no, it needs to be signed. So I think that helped me a lot when I was becoming a coordinator, is just like the definitions of things, of like, what is this used for? So
that did help you.
Yeah, no, that did help me. I still have the slides saved and everything from there. If I don't know what it is, because I didn't know what a 1572 was for the longest time, and then I went through the academy, I'm like, oh, like, because you told me what it was and everything, but like giving a solid definition of what things are and what they're used for helped a lot.
Yeah,
for that.
Okay. And then as far as, like, there's a lot of other aspects, like there's a very healthy customer service element in this career at the site level specifically. Like, CRAs don't deal with patients. Sponsors don't deal with patients.
Yep.
And we at the site, we deal with all the stuff they do, but we also have to deal with patients who could care less what an amendment is, or what a new ICF is, or even what, like, rescreening them. They could care less that we have to rescreen them, but they just want to do the study. Exactly. So there's an element of that too, like the patient interaction, that I think that would be helpful for some people to have, like, a transferable skill set.
Yeah, especially if you've ever worked in any type of customer service, it works. Just treat them good, make sure they're happy when they're walking out the door, and you're good.
And as far as monitors are concerned, so you're the lead CRC. You're pretty much dealing with most of the monitors,
right?
But the staff have started to interact with monitors also for some studies. What do you think? When do you think that's appropriate to have? Because with our other employee that didn't make it, when things were chaotic for a while, I had her on a Zoom with a monitor, and it was probably a bad idea by herself. The monitor called me later like, hey, this is your coordinator? And I said, no, she was replacing me for that Zoom. But, like, when do you think it's appropriate to have more interaction with the monitors for the CRCs?
I definitely think it just comes to a point where the CRCs know what they need to do, know the protocol, and are able, I guess, to, ask questions on their own, like
ask good questions.
Like good questions, like today we were dealing with a type of surgery we didn't know was exclusionary. If they're able to ask those types of questions, then it gets to a point where they're good. But I think until they're able to do a visit on their own and take that initiative to look through the protocol, ask the right questions, and just do that, I guess, usually takes a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
But introducing them to the CRAs is great. Do it right away when you know they can run a visit on their own. And I think it's just stepping stones, building it up.
Last question, and that we'll save the rest of the conversation for SOS. But compared to like being independent coordinator, where you're just in charge of yourself, and we've tried a lot of things prior to this. We've tried. This is your study, right? This is your study, the other coordinator, and we had no real lead CRC. It was just me, and then 3 of you guys, kind of equal. Do you enjoy that more than lead CRC, or do you like this better? Like the setup we have now, where no one's really in charge of any study. It's just a lead CRC, but then you have coordinators. Kind of you're giving tasks based on their skill set. And
I think for where we are right now and how big our company is right now and everything, what we do right now works, because everyone knows all the studies. We don't have that many studies right now, but we are getting a lot of people screened for each of the studies we have now. I think it's good that we don't have specific studies for specific people, because if someone's gone one day, maybe they don't know you have to do some specific type of blood test unless it's written. Yeah, cross-training is key for our site.
And no matter how fair you try to be, one study is always going to be harder than the other and more annoying, and then it's not fair for that person.
Right.
Which we were in that situation too.
Yeah, we tried it. We tried it.
It worked
for a minute.
It works. It gets the job done, but people were not exactly happy.
Right.
And on a team that small, it's kind of ridiculous that you can't find like a happy medium.
Yeah. It'd probably work better for bigger companies, universities, things like that, but not for a small company.
One of the things I'm toying around with, and I don't know the answer yet, but we're signing up a new cardiologist. So we're going to have like 4 PIs now, different specialists.
Right.
Is maybe have like you're a team cardiology, like, you know, like you're the lead CRC for everything now, but maybe have a lead CRC for each therapeutic indication, and then have like the YCT team, which is like the core, you know, the first 4 people maybe in charge of everything, like generalist, and then having specialists.
Okay.
Something in my mind. I've never done that because I've never had the opportunity, but that's it's interesting to me. I don't know if that's what we're going to do, but
yeah, I mean, I could see it being a good thing just because I know, like, I work really well with our dermatologist. Like, me and him have a very good relationship. When I know the other coordinators, like, way back when, didn't have that great of a relationship with him.
That's true.
So, like, if you have certain coordinators that form those good bonded relationships with the PIs and everything, I think it could be a really good thing.
All right. Any advice for lead CRCs? Maybe, because you've been doing this 3 months now in charge of other people, maybe somebody their first time going to be, like, their first day is going to be tomorrow managing people. What advice do you have for them?
The best advice I'd probably get is learn to mesh well with different personalities, just because you got to be able to talk to each individual person and kind of learn where their emotions at, learn where their work ethic is at and everything like that. So like having those one-on-one conversations with the employees, and just, again, being able to set aside your emotions, your perspective, and see things in other people's perspectives too will really help.
And age ain't nothing but a number because you're like only 22?
23.
23 and you're doing this.
Yeah.
So for those watching, like, you know, you can do it at any age. It's really the experience. It's not the age. It's
a learning curve, though. It's definitely a big
you'll be the youngest on our panel by far.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's good. It's good. Yeah. It's good to learn different stuff.
That's good. Well, like, subscribe, comment, share. Thank you, Katie.
Yes,
everybody
thank you.
Go meet up with her at SOS. We'll continue this conversation on the panel. Take care. Bye-bye. Hey, if you guys like that kind of content, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. Stay tuned for more videos.